this weekend I went to the used curriculum store here in, well, Raleigh. I'm not in Raleigh, but here in North Carolina. It's called The Gathering Place. And I grabbed a few things and I thought I would share the haul with you today. I never made it over there this summer. It's one of those things that kept being moved on my to-do list. Never got there. But I finally had to go this weekend because I had to pick up 2 new books, the next Life of Fred books for Ben. And I took the one we just finished over there to consign as well. And if you are in the North Carolina area, leave me a comment down there. I'd love to know who is watching from the area. The first thing I grabbed, well, 2 things about it. One, same book, 1 page written in each one. One was $10 and one was $18. Now, it's still a good deal compared to buying it new, but when you go shopping with consignment stores, make sure you just poke around because you never know what the pricing is going to be. Anyway, that said, when I was in there, I saw these, I quickly grabbed them. I didn't stop to think. With the title of Cursive Logic, I thought these were the cursive writing books from Logic of English, which is called, I forget what they're called. I don't even remember now. But that's what I thought. I grabbed them because I knew that those were good. And then I got home. Plus they weren't. They still look good, but they're not what I thought they were. Anyway, my boys are older, so they've both learned cursive. However, one of my kiddos has dysgraphia, and cursive is often recommended for that because of the way the writing works and the hand motions, that it can be good for them. So while he's learned cursive and print, his handwriting, being dysgraphic, is not good at all, and I want to try and improve it. If he doesn't like cursive and he goes back to print, that's fine. We're still working on the fine motor skills and such, so we're gonna go with it. The other one does not, but he's commented before that he's kind of bothered by his handwriting. We don't do a lot of handwriting stuff, and I realize now that that's one thing that I've made a mistake with in elementary school, was not doing enough. And so we're just going to kind of do it as a refresher, and if he likes it, great. If not, again, he's still learning the skills and all of that, and we're just going with it. This is probably going to be a January thing for both of them. I think it will not take either one of them long to get through. So that's what we're going to do in January. It starts with, they call them the orange oval letters. Lesson 2 is like the lime loop letters, then the silver swing letters, then the mauve mound letters. And each of those lessons they're not like just a one-time lesson. So the orange oval letters are A, C, D, G, Q, O. Which I wouldn't have called those oval, but what do I know? To me, those would be more like circles. Guess it depends on how you do it. Anyway, those are 10 pages total. Looks like they're each about 10. And then they start combining them into words. Now, one of the differences with this one, and I'm going to have to look more closely at the Logic of English, because I think they do it, if I remember correctly, they do it similarly. That by grouping them not by letter in the order in the alphabet like most handwritings do, this program groups them by shape only. So like M, N, X, they all have that little hump before mound, as they're calling them, before you form them. So I think that connection and that muscle memory, I think will be good for both of my kiddos. After the lessons, then they have a bunch of ones where they start to connect them. So like midline dip connections to oval, loop, and letters. So V to A. So you've got that little bit of a dip. Then midline connections to mound letters, etc. So it's very ordered the way it approaches it. I'm pretty excited by it. I'm just excited to try something different for handwriting. With my kiddos, we use a reason for handwriting. I think it was what it was called. I can't even remember. It's been that long. And it was fine. It was very, I would say, very kind of public school-y as far as the approach to it. Copy a bunch of letters, copy some words, move on to the next one. And then we tried that. Elizabeth used that all the way through, and then the boys both started with it. And I think we switched to something else. I don't even remember what. This is how like it's weird how, in life, parenting, something seems really important at the time, and then a few years later you're like, I have no idea. Well, this is what it was for me. I remember thinking, so reading all the different arguments for the different ways of approaching handwriting, and I don't even remember now. Anyway, I'm excited just to try something different, but I'm also excited to really think about it as we go through this so that I can share it with you. Anyway, look for a review in the springtime for this. Cursive Logic. Next up, I just grabbed a Mindbenders book. Ben is probably going to finish his math this year in March, if he keeps at the same pace he's going. So I need some stuff to fill towards the end of the year, because I don't want to move him I don't want him to start next year's math yet, because I think we might do online live class next year instead of self-paced with Mr. D. And so he enjoys these books. So this is one that I grabbed from Critical Thinking Company. They're good. I love everything Critical Thinking Company. So I grabbed that one, and that one was $6. I think they're usually like $13 maybe. So next up are Life of Fred. We just finished the beginning algebra book. So I grabbed Advanced Algebra and Geometry. My intent was that we would move into geometry next. He does Mr. D's self-paced math. And so this is just a supplement for us. It has always been a supplement. We started Life of Fred in kindergarten for Ben. And so he has been in our lives a long time. Ben is a 9th grader. And so we keep reading. We keep chugging along. I am the one who reads to him. I've suggested, now that he's 14, almost 15, he could do it on his own, but I got a big no. He loves me to read to him, so I keep doing it because it won't be much longer until he's out of the house and not asking his mama to read to him. Anyway, my intent was that we would move on to geometry because that's what he's doing. Well, then I started looking at the order of the books, and it said that Advanced Algebra should come next. Well, because Life of Fred's are just stories, I can't really skip around to this one. Then the story would be out of order. So I guess Advanced Algebra is what we will do next. We read them once a week. And depending on how long the chapter is, we read 2 or 3 at a time. We do not do the problems usually. Occasionally I'll have them do a couple, but since this is just a supplement for us, we don't. We also don't do the tests that are in them. The books, I don't know what these run, but Advanced Algebra was 25 and this one was 20. The last thing I got was the Introduction to Number Theory from Art of Problem Solving. And again, this one is for Ben in the spring, I think. the book itself, if I remember correctly on the website, is recommended for ages or grades 7 through 10 or 8 through 10, some in that range. And I had originally thought about it for Matthew. I still think maybe at some point, but not right now. But I think for Ben, we're going to try it. Mostly as a time filler, and I think he will do well with what it covers. And if you don't know what number theory is, because I didn't until I was researching it. My husband took this class in college for engineering, but I did not. It says, what are integers? Which integers are interesting? What can we do with them? How do we use them to read messages, secret messages, etc.? These are some of the questions. I didn't read all of it to you. About the subject of number theory. Number theory is the study of integers. As ancient as number theory is, humans are still uncovering mysteries behind integers and learning to use them in powerful new ways. The topics in this, let me find the chapters. There's integers, the basics, primes and composites, multiples and divisors, prime factorization, divisor problems, special numbers, algebra with integers, base number arithmetic, units, digits, decimals and fractions, and divisibility rules, which I think is be super helpful. And something I think needs to be taught more. Number sense, linear congruence. I will do assuming we end up doing this in the spring, I will do a longer review after I've used it. If you are not aware, art of problem solving books are challenging, rigorous, honors level for some kids, depending on the program, but definitely for a kid who enjoys math. If your child does not enjoy math and doesn't enjoy trying to discover what's being taught, then this is not going to be a program for you. It's not going to be a great program for you. Great choice. Because of the way they do it, it's leading you to discover the explanations. And I don't know if that really makes sense. I'm not sure how to describe it well. Anyway, look for a review coming in this summer probably. That is my little homeschool haul from the used bookstore, the Gathering Place in Raleigh. That's all. Thanks for watching.